Chelsea, I've noticed that I often rely on external validation, whether from friends, social media, or partners, to feel good about myself. When I'm not receiving attention or praise, I start to feel unworthy and insecure. I want to break this cycle and learn to find validation from within. How can I stop depending on others to feel worthy and start building my self-esteem from the inside out? This really brings me back. It brings me back to this memory of me in undergraduate. And I was in this autobiography class. I know, 18, thinking I could come up with an autobiography, but I was in it. And my professor at the time asked to speak with me after class. And she asked me, do you ever get stopped on the street for the way you look? And I said, yeah, my whole life. And she said, me too. But Chelsea, you have to find your value outside of those comments, because one day they're going to stop. Even as I say that, it was terrifying to hear. I couldn't accept it. It was going to stop. I didn't want to get to that place. I didn't want to think about that day. I just wanted to hold on to the ways and pursue the ways that it wouldn't stop, right? Like, what could I do to ensure that the comments would never stop? So in a way, just the knowledge that they would stop made them bigger than me and made the pursuit, the quest, louder than it had ever been. And so what happened? More and more misery. And I remember it's this line, right? Like, that the praise really counts for nothing. It never really penetrates us. Ask yourself this, the praise, it doesn't really penetrate us if we don't believe it. So whether it's criticism or praise, it's all the same. And that's the thing that you have to think about, that this need for external validation is really coming from a place of self-hatred, a lack of self-love, self-doubt, a disbelief in self, not believing really in yourself, because if you believed all the things that were being said about you, that they were true, you wouldn't need to hear them constantly, right? You wouldn't need constant reminders that you're beautiful, that you're hysterical, that, oh my God, no one dresses like you, whatever it is, right? So what did I do in order to overcome this? And this was more than just having people stop me on the street and say something about my looks. That was just an early example in my life. But it bled into so many other things that I started to need. Like, I grew up on social media, on the internet. I had a journal, a live journal for any of those that know it, really early on, before blogs were a thing, before we knew really what the consequences could be of them. And I remember just sharing everything constantly. And in grad school, I had this awareness like, oh my God, I feel like I need to get off the internet, because I don't even know if I'm taking photographs of things for myself or for others, right? And then think about that. What happens? Like, you might be attached to the likes now, but what if they start decreasing? What if they stop, just like my professor said? What will you do? People are often driven to despair because of that. They can't handle the contrasts. Having it all, being on top, and then feeling like they're at the bottom, because they were never valuing themselves. They were never the ones giving themselves attention. And they were just receiving it. They weren't giving it to themselves, they were receiving it. So they don't know how to do it. So how can you learn how to validate yourself? Well, I think it goes to what my professor said, is you have to make it stop. You have to extinguish it. Like, you have to stop engaging with it. I think we will depend on things as long as they are there for us. Think about like vaping or drugs. We will take those drugs as long as they are in front of us. So we have to get rid of it. So one thing that I did is there have been a period of times where I've gotten off the internet just to see, like, will I even still take photographs if I'm not posting them? You said partners of yours, right? Potential partners or partners that you're getting validation from them. This was a big one. I didn't go in with the intention of being celibate, but I thought I would take some time before I started sleeping with someone or receiving affection from men, because I had always been in relationships. And that ended up being this long stretch of period of going without it and learning to affirm myself. Not just to feel good in my body when I'm on top of a man, on top, but to feel good in my body when I'm alone with myself. When I have felt attached or realizing I'm attached maybe to other people, interacting with other people. I love like walking out my door and suddenly everyone seems to know me. Oh my God. And it's like, is that good for me? Or is that my ego? What happens if I lose those people? If I move to a new city? I didn't want to move to this new city. I was so scared of it because, oh my God, I won't walk out the door and people won't know me. And I said, I have to shut the door to my life and go within. I have to break inward and teach myself, see what comes up and see how I can validate myself. So one way is like, if people are saying that you're so beautiful and that's what you're attaching to, see how you can find yourself beautiful. Like, where is there beauty in you? Now, maybe it's that you don't actually feel beautiful. So maybe start taking photographs of yourself when you're alone. Choose the lighting, get into it. I've really seen that, like, putting my phone on portrait mode for pictures, really, and then going from a distance and a timer, like I got into it in a different way and I got to see myself in a way that I felt like was maybe more accurate. That could be a way. Maybe it's, asking yourself, what does beauty really even mean? Am I beautiful because of my soul and how I extend myself to others? What are ways that I do that? So take the compliments that you're being given and go ask yourself, okay, let's not look at it as just like a blanket statement that I'm so dependent on, but what does this even mean? How do I see this in myself? How do I feel this in myself? How do I experience this in myself? How does this even come out of me? If it's humor, how does humor come out of me? What are the circumstances surrounding me that I'm in that I turn on and I become the comedian? If I'm really attentive to people, what is it that makes me want to attend to them? People always say that I'm so caring. Oh, wow. I don't want that to go away. So what are the ways that I feel inspired to care for others? So that's how I would do it. I would, and it doesn't have to be forever, right? Like, it really doesn't. This is just an assignment to your soul, to yourself, is that I'm going to step outside of this realm because that's what I'm asking for. I'm asking to detach from this. So I'm going to detach from the validation of others and figure out how you're feeling validated and detach from it. And it could be that you have to give up social media for a while. It could be that you have to give up, partners for a while. And break inward, go within, and think of all the comments that you're getting, all the ways that you're being validated, and ask yourself, what are these things, and how can I do that for myself? Versus, how is this being done for me? I mean, you could even look, how's someone else doing this for me? Wait, how can I be the one that does this for me? How can I begin to believe that I am these things outside of other people telling me I am these things? And once you believe and have evidence and have proof, social proof within yourself that you are these things, even when other people aren't affirming you, encouraging you, applauding you to keep at it, keep going, keep being these ways, then I think that you can step out and you have this unshakable confidence that this is you. This doesn't depend on others. You don't depend on others to be this way. And I think that's when there'll be this excitement, because you will feel like there's integrity in yourself. I am not this way for the audience of others. I am this way even in the audience of one, which is just myself. So I hope this helps you. I hope this helps you, because it was a very intimidating journey for me. Very, very intimidating, a heartbreaking journey. And I think that often the anticipation of losing something, losing validation, and not wanting to go there makes us hold on and depend so much more. But I always say the anticipation of loss is often so much worse than the loss itself. So brave it, try it, and see what you can gain. Thanks.